Namaste, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namo Namaha, Jai Ganesha. Please visit our website at classicalyoga.org, and there is a donate button if you would like to help us out. And please stand up for the Hindu, yoga, religious, spiritual, scientific, philosophical lifestyle. Today's podcast, the Hindu Super Bowl. This happens to be another Super Bowl Sunday in America, and we did a podcast last year called Param Dharma, or Super Bowl. Param, supreme, or we could say super. And Dharma, this Sanskrit, Tamil, Hindu word, comes from the root dri, meaning to hold. And is that not a bowl? By definition, a bowl is, quote, a concave hemispherical vessel, end quote. So we all know there are different bowls to hold different objects, just as there are different religions that contain different qualities within them, different language, different rituals, different practices. We also did a podcast about the many acronyms of life, and one of them was the BAG principle, B-A-G. In other words, we are bound to act to grow. Now, the English word bound has two meanings. It means constrained or confined, bound, boundaries, and it also means inevitable. So in other words, we are constrained in this particular physical body, in this incarnation, from which we act and grow. And it is a fact that we are bound, or inevitably we're going to do something, we're going to act. The choice is up to us. It makes rational sense to try and be timely in our actions. Of course, as Hindus, we believe in samsara, or reincarnation. But in any one incarnation, there's only so much time. So as Yogaswami, a mystic from Sri Lanka, said, time is more precious than rubies. Don't waste it. So we're all, in a very real sense, playing the many games of life. And timing is intricate to all the games. Now, as Hindus, the closer actually we get to Mahaganapati and Shiva, chances are the more adept we'll be at time and timing. From the famous Ganesh Panchratnam by Adi Shankara, speaking of Ganesha, Kaladara Vatamsakam Vilasi Lokarakshakam. Ganesha is the master of time and timing. And interestingly, Mahadev Shiva, in a sense, wears a bowl in his jata, in his hair, the crescent moon. Remember, a bowl is a concave hemispherical vessel. Is that not the crescent moon? And Mahadev Shiva is often called Kala Nada, the master of time. Why the crescent moon? Well, the crescent moon is a way of showing the waxing and the waning of the moon, this cyclical nature or the timing. Hence, Shiva becomes the master of time, Kala Nada. Very important. To the various games of life, to the arts, music, timing, dance. Hence, Shiva is also Nataraja, the divine dancer, the royal dancer. And Hindus who are involved in dance and music full well know the importance of the tala, the beat, and the raga and the melody and timing, and their timing is very precise. It's interestingly, in everyday life, in contemporary life, Hindus are often infamously known for not respecting time, not being on time. This is something we obviously need to correct. For when we respect time, we're showing respect to others. For example, every puja should start on time. That's a respect for the devas that we're calling on, and a respect for all of the people that are attending the puja. On this Super Bowl Sunday, this football game will consist of 4 quarters, 15 minutes each. And when time's up, game over. So in a way, if we make an acronym out of bowl, be on time, win life. Bowling is interesting because there's also the game of bowling, because bowl also means to roll a ball. Those of you that play cricket know that. The pitcher, if you will, is called the bowler. And in bowling, it's very interesting that there's 10 pins. So if we look at the game of the Hindu yoga Dharma, our Super Bowl, if you will, we could look at Hindu Dharma Dashabdame, Hindu Dharma in 10 words or less. We've gone over this before, but just to refresh, we have these 10 words that help us to explain the Hindu Yoga Dharma to others in 1 word up to 10 words, with a little bit of fill-in between. And this is so that one can explain Hindu Dharma to someone interested in as simple as 1 word or up to 10 words, depending upon the length of time and or the interest. So, Hinduism in 10 words or less: 1. Yoga. 2. Atman Brahman. 3. Satchit Ananda. 4. Karma, Bhakti, Raja, Jnana. 5. Saiva, Vaishnava, Shakta, Smarta, Nastika. 6. Nyaya, Visesika, Mimamsa, Vedanta, Sankhya, Yoga. 7. Muladhara, Svarasthana, Manipura, Anahata, Visuddha, Ajna, Sahasvara. 8. Vedas, Agamas, Tantras, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Tirukural, Tirumantram, Puranas. 9 words: Vritta Dharma, Swadharma, Ashrama Dharma, Varnashrama Dharma, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, Sannyasin. In Hinduism in 10 words: Bhumi, Udaka, Agni, Vayu, Akasha, Granaja, Rasa, Sakshusha, Sparana, Shrautra. Now, a bowl is also a gathering place, a stadium, for example, or a valley. And as far as we know, is it not the valley of the Indus, the Indus River Valley, where all of this began? This Hindu yoga Dharma, this Super Bowl that is Dharma. So we can make another acronym out of bowl: Be-Om, win life. Now, of course, we know that the Om is actually the Sanskrit word A-U-M, A-U-Um, but it's often seen spelt with an O because that's the way it sounds. So we can use that Be-Om, win life. In other words, with all of our innumerable Sanskrit words and slokas, even in the Vedas it says all you have to do is, with full concentration, be devoted to the Om, and one will have in-depth spiritual realization. Why? Because when we look to Mandukya Upanishad, it describes this this Om, as bringing together the Vaishvanara, Tejasya, Prajna, the animal, human, and divine nature. This is the famous Om Karam, Bindu Samyuktam, Nityam Dhyayanti Yoginaha, Kamara Moksharam Chaiva Om Karaya Namo Namaha. This primal sound, the hum of the universe, if you will, the Big Bang. In the depths of quiet, one can hear it, the hum of the universe, the Om of the universe, the Om Karam. It's been chanted for eons of time by youthful yogis. In other words, it brings about a youthful countenance no matter what the physical age, and helps to release one from an over-attachment to the bondages of the world. In other words, we win at the game of life. Om Karam Bindu Samyuktam Nityam Dhyayanti Yoginaha Kamaram Moksharam Chaiva Om Karaya Namo Namaha. So as people around the world play their many games of life, and this is what develops a good sense of sportsmanship, because we win, we lose sometimes. Life is about learning good sportsmanship. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. This is the game of life itself. So we all find the many games in life that we love. And it's interesting that the Super Bowl always comes right around Valentine's Day, which is, of course, all about people uncovering the inner love within. And Hindus knew this all along, that it was at the heart chakra, Anahata. That's why we send pictures of hearts to people on Valentine's Day, Why? Because that is where we experience that feeling of love, the emotion of love, the Ananda Priya. So as we proceed through our life, we all find our games that we love, our secular games and our religious games. And that's a good approach so that we treat life seriously, but not too seriously. We're all in this together. The best thing to be is a good sport. The worst thing to be is to be a bad sport, a bad loser, and an egotistical winner. So, fellow Hindus, are you taking the game of Hindu Dharma seriously? Are you participating? Think for a moment that those who go to today's Super Bowl are going to pay about $8,000 per ticket, believe it or not. That's just the ticket. That doesn't include hotel stays, air fees, food. People are going to spend, upwards of $10,000 for one day. Think about how much Hindus you donate to your mandirs and your ashrams. There'll be over 100,000 people in the stadium, in the bowl, plus all those innumerable people watching by TV, etc. How often do you go to mandir? How well attended are your ashrams and mandirs? This is something to think about. If we're going to play these games of life, play them with sincerity, with good sportsmanship. In other words, stop being a Hindu in name only. If we have declared we are playing this Hindu game of life, take it seriously, but not too seriously, but play the game. Notice that all these players who begin the game put on their game face, and afterwards, hopefully, they may have a few skirmishes in between, but afterwards they all shake each other's hand and say, "Good game," and then they move on to the next game. So again, remember, Hindus, that there are many synonyms for what we call Hinduism today. Now, it's important to create a united Hindu family that we recognize this. We are most recognized by the word Hindu. And remember, the H or the use of the H or not doesn't really change the meaning of the word. Indu is the original valley. It's also a constellation. It's the people, their practices. And it means Chandra Sarid Bindu Soma, the worship of the moon, the river, the sun, and the nectar of bliss within, respectively. And also the worship of Shiva, the Mataji is Vishnu, respectively, and the Atmana within. Chandra Sarid Bindu Soma. So we are Indu Hindus, and the various synonyms, in fact, the first written word, Indu is the first by implication, but the first written word is Ritta, which refers to Mother Nature. Hindu Dharma, Ritta Dharma, is very nature-based. Obviously, this is our home planet. Victory to Mother Nature, Rit Vijam. And Ritta also means order, and that is synonymous with the word Dharma. Duty, what's holding us together, Ritta. Rit Vijam. So Ritta and Dharma and Vedic Dharma, Yoga Dharma, and then Sanatan Dharma, which is the understanding of just the eternal nature of life itself. Brahmanism, Hinduism, the Hindu religion. Sabeka Sarva Ekam. So if we look at Ritta, we find Rittiyu, Rittiyus, Rittiyin, Rittaparna, Rittadama, Rittanada. Rittiyu, follow the Dharma. Rittiyus, live a true life. Rittiyin, become the Dharma. Rittaparna, fly on wings of Dharma. Rittadhama, to the abode of Ishvara, Rittanada. And as religious spiritual people, we need to take the same mindset and realize that our religion is a way. It's not the way, and it's not no way or always. It's very specific. It has its rules and regulations and rituals. So have a Super Bowl, a Super Dharma Sunday, and for Hindus, a Super Dharma every day, as we learn to play fair the many games of life and strive to master the art of timing. Kaladara Vitamsakam Vilasi Loka Rakshakam. Om Jai Ganesha, Jai Hindu Yoga Dharma. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.